It's a bit dark in here, so bear with me. And I've got a dodgy arm and neck. I'm bedbound today. Capita is a saga. Can't move my hand. Right, so basically, Department of Works and Pensions in UK, like thousands of people like me, have messed me about so many times. For example, first they want to send me to Coventry, 30 miles away. I don't get outside my blinking home, let alone the way I need to, to do things. Then they sent, that was for an afternoon appointment, but when you've not been out your home for years and my neck is killing me, I've got all injuries down the right side. So I'm going to call the doctors later and see if they can do anything. Anyway, as my former social worker at the time managed to call up the call centre, I've got dates and files of paperwork in front of me, you can't even make it up, and proof of posting and everything. I finally got another IT produced letter. Capita Business Service Limited, Head Office 71 Victoria Street, Westminster, London. It's part of the National International Company, Capita PLC. On behalf, they call it, Department of Works and Pensions. It's a transition from DLA, Personal Disability Living Allowance, to Personal Independence offer PIP. So, who is the decision maker? If you fail to go without a good reason, the decision maker for the Department of Works and Pensions are likely to refuse your claim. That's what they've done. The recent letter, which I got injured last night, so I can't do any photocopying and I can't do emails, and I'm just sitting here trying to talk half asleep. I'm so ill. Because I found this document 27th November last year. I tried to get citizens' advice in my area, offer a home visit, because I'm bedbound all the bloody week out of how many days, out of 7, and I can't bloody move. I've got all these medical aids attached to my bed. What the hell do they want? Blood out my bloody, blood out of stone. So the next offer was 11.15. Well, before that was an offer. Clive, this guy called Clive, he meant well. He was a mate of somebody called Sam, I know, from years ago, who was a member of Jesus Army Fellowship in my area. He's a nice chap, he means well. But since I got the dates and paperwork, since he'd 2 meetings offered in this cafe where it's safe and I know the area, and my mates have to get me up, wash me the way I am in, it's so much at risk. Not to me, it's by the bloody state not doing their job and system, what I'm meant to be having, what I'm meant to be offered, left in a limbo. So I've upset my sister again. Well, confused myself. I'm half asleep like this. 2 o'clock in the morning, messenger her. I'm pissed off. I didn't quite say it like that, but I'm half asleep. I must have said something, and then I woke up today and oh God, what do I say? I just feel like I'm trapped in a cage because of this corrupt system. It's just so against disabled people. You're trying to find a way through everything this maze. Friends can help. What more can I do? So I'm left without any delay still. So I end up in hospital, for example, again, to go to Coventry. So that got that church friend and his friend, and the guy turns out to be experienced with his members in welfare benefits and he's an accountant. But he's not like and things like that. I need all that help, and I've gone and got it. So then I was meant to be offered, because he got through kindly to a male, got his name, his to a capita call centre down in United Kingdom. Oh, my medical notes wasn't even bloody looked at or scanned into the computer system to be offered a paper-based medical. The grounds I've got, and I'll quote that in a minute if I can. I can't really leave my shoulder. Some idiot put their bloody mat outside his door, and I caught my wheelchair, and I've injured the jerking whiplash injury on my right shoulder, my head, and my ankle. So bad injured. So my mates have got me banded up and painkillers and ice packs to lay the rest of up. I know better in a few hours. They've got to ring the doctors, and that would be meaning an ambulance, because you don't get a doctor visit no more. Anyway, I thought I'd try and do this. Tell you, that ain't gone away. This situation, it's got worse. It's hell. So, the nature of my personal care, by the time, it's very complex, and by the time they care for me and get me washed, dressed, and the situation I'm left in is really serious. It's a nightmare. Yeah. It's not by them, it's by others who are not doing their job for 1 year, 9 months. The housing side. So anyway, when this other letter said an appointment at the Derngate Capita, you know what they're like, watch you what you can and cannot do. I wish I could do a lot. I wouldn't be needing all this, I tell you. I wouldn't be doing this. So appointment was for 24th of 9th, 2018, 11:55 a.m. I'm literally tired. The side effects of medications as well. I'm not with it. I'm not even finished cared for by that time. With all the hoisting, all the transferring, and everything else, it's not until after 1 that I'm decent in my wheelchair, and that's if I can get out of bed, you know. So it's all computerized, isn't it? All these I've since found out these codes, computer codes they're using now. Well, since then to date. So I've had all these handwritten notes. So twice Coventry, then to Derngate, the wrong time, and then that was 2, that was 3, and the 4th one, a letter came after the effort of that individual church friend. His friend made the call to Capita, and I was going to be offered either paper-based medical, for finally they got my evidence, physical, how it affects me, and psychological, the effects of a serious crime. It's horrendous. Post-traumatic stress, you know. And I'm on medication for life. They can't do nothing for me because I can't be cured. So, I was expecting a letter to be offered an afternoon time or a paper-based medical. That's it. I'm trying to remember. And instead, I have evidence from HM Court Service, the very service, civil service servants, who already in May 2011 confirmed I'm permanently affected for life. And this is not just about compensation. I've not got any final payment for my handling. This is basically was sent with my evidence at PIP. That this is from 3 judges from Professor Martin's medical report, paragraph 6 and 62, 63, unlikely to remit. The tribunal accepted the expert opinion by Dr. Martin's report, and this is reference to a hearing going back all back to 4th of May 2011. Well, I couldn't attend because I was run over. 2009, World Independent 2010. The attempt to murder. And the evidence of this specialist report, psychiatrist report, and permanently in mental health from injuries compensated. 17th of October 2018. Victims of violence or crime, horrendous. There was a case study of evidence of women victims of rape in London where they too are treated overwhelming because they're victims of rape. This is attempted murder. And I can't cope with face-to-face anything, let alone medicals like this. So I found the clause in PIP Regulations 2013, the statute laws, that I meet the criteria all along. So why the hell didn't they bloody do their job? Areas of the call centre, PO Box in Darlington, United Kingdom, private limited company, and they completely abused my my human rights, and then direct discrimination, trauma. Emotional. This is violation all over again. When this is not good enough, that got resent with this evidence. Video 7 Darlington, dated 16th of the 10th 2018, came Saturday, the 20th of the 10th 2018. On Saturday, my private friends sent, oh gosh, excuse me. They sent the additional evidence. Because I couldn't believe it. I was, what the hell? What bloody phone calls? These kind people offered to help me, and I was confirmed I'll be offered this time the home visit or face to face, and I didn't find the regulations out about I would meet this and the other criteria. So what they gone and done, you see, these wonderful lack of, I ain't got words to describe it. They sent an appointment for 9:15 AM and I'm bloody bedbound. Hello. I've got no care. I've got nobody here. I can't cope with doing emails and stuff, all that shite on my own. And this was for a Thursday, 25th of 10th, 2018. Be back to reject the offer. Every damn bit. They don't look at him. Excuse me. They don't look at your medical. They don't use the bloody your own doctor's evidence, which I found out that was already sent. And I don't know what it was they sent, but it's home visit. And I'm on waiting list. Individuals are not doing what they're meant to do to offer correctly for me. So I'm left in a limbo. So that's why I thought most of my sisters were so peed off. And my mates are pulling out, you see. When they do that, because they're fed up, they can't cope anymore. They're fed up me always ill. They're fed up that I can't get the right service. They're fed up with all this. They're fed up me being targeted. Just singled out. They're just fed up that you try. It's like they want to get rid of, but are not bloody giving up with these parasites. They have no clue what it's like. And this is not just me. This is how it's in that bedroom. Trying to get bloody pillows around my neck, so bear with me. Support on my back. Right. This bunch of paperwork is psychiatrist report. I didn't want to send this off because it's horrendous reading for me. 60 pages long, and the problems I've got. I've got evidence as a survivor of attempted murder on a national case. Since 2003, I was all over the media with this. That's how traumatized I am by all this. I'm a survivor of that effing man, what he did to me. Well, why is it they dismiss this capita, you bastards? You don't give a shite. You got no humanity. What, women or guys or individuals, if you're going through similar or gone through similar, how you can't face people, let them communicate, because it's permanent. And expect me to cope my physical illnesses on top. Excuse me, I'm emotional. So it got posted, the response back, dated Wednesday the 17th of the 10th, 2018. And I just lost my mum in July, and she died, right? So I was going to be grieving still. And her funeral was in August last year. So this went to Capita Department, it's man or woman, Business Services Limited, head office, as I just mentioned, and co-copied into as a man. They call whatever, they keep having posts handling site A, B. I mean, which one is it? Anyway, it went to the right departments and individuals, or the immediate attention of the complaints department manager of Capita Business Service Limited. Official complaint. Bear with me. I'm unable to consent to talk on the phone, emails, or Capita Business Services Limited. Its head office, 71 Victoria Street, London. Its company house number is 2299747, who has a contract with the Department of Works and Pensions, head office in Clacton House, London, and via its area offices or call centres, reference to the personal independence offer and reference to the healthcare professionals. Well, that individual needs to be struck off for what she did to me. To offer face-to-face medical, PIP medical. If offer via, I'm trying to read my writing, so bear with me because it's I haven't really looked at this. It's been too traumatizing. If offer via oh yeah, it's IT produced. IT produced offers via I'm trying to read my writing. Produced. I've never offered the company's policy on making sure the offer. I've got to get this out. I'm making sure the offers of goods and services meets the Equality Statute Law 2010 Equality Act for my disabilities in section 2122. Please anyone check it out and research that if you want to know. In which, again, dated Thursday the 20th of September 2018, a formal offer which a call centre, mentioned capita, PIP, by its Darlington offer, employee, it's a female, and that's a Thursday. I was with my social worker and a care advocate, the former social worker, before she left the job, who had made a call for me on that day, additionally, because I had again the offer of that morning visit. The social worker made it clear what I require, and my private life friends with factual medical evidence of my high personal care needs, and offered under duress sent to. How many pages is that? And the former church friend I mentioned about who he was, he also made a call for me because I heard the social worker was going to leave the job and I didn't know he wasn't getting any support. Well, on that Friday, the 21st of the night, 2018, just after I saw the social worker, what he did for me, he spoke to a mail call. My doctor's medical evidence and the grounds of evidence for paper-based medical assessment on specific grounds, instead of offer of 9:15 a.m. to my home on the date of Thursday, the 25th of 10th, 2018. Enclosed with this handwritten letter was their IT-produced offer letter. This is a major disadvantage. Unable to self-care, I shall decline without ill will. I require the offer reasonable adjustments. The evidence enclosed. I offer lawfully confirm this in writing or an email. Right, so my mate put my email, well, they checked my emails for me. And this was said posted, £7, special delivery for next day, in time to stop them coming around at 9:15 a.m. when I'm bedbound. I wasn't rejecting, I just needed either afternoon time or a medical, paper-based medical, and I found the regulations which I should have been offered that. Thousands of people like me should, still. So, as I said, it got delivered, and this is a key date, it got delivered. The 21st of the 10th, 2018. Tuesday. So why did you, capita, you nasty pieces of work, you don't check your computer system, still sent somebody around to ask me, and you added to my mental health distress. Page 2. I've got a dodgy arm. I'm trying to have a drink. I'm having trouble to function today. The added facts I offered. Oh, my body is killing me today. The added facts reference to an offer for Thursday, the 25th of 10th, 2018 at 9:15 a.m. DWP Capita. I require them to review their decision to offer that face-to-face time for a PIP medical. I'm suffering mental distress, and I was in hospital with a head injury in the 6th of 9th, 2018 also. And the PIP, DWP, the grounds and circumstances of the healthcare professional to ring, to get them to confirm all this, to ring my NHS England GP, medical practitioner, doctor, to check on my level of mobility, to avoid the disability, also medical overwhelming psychological distress, on my mental health as well, cognitive, COGNITIVE, sensory impairments. Again, this medical report is evidence. And the evidence base, the ground for paper-based medical PIP assessment. I require the offer, and again, shared the medical evidence. And not to offer face-to-face medical, and the reasons why. And the evidence got sent with it, by the way. With a, so I won't need to see assessor. The requirement was put in for that. And the evidence, all the physical evidence, the medical evidence, what I can and cannot do, etc., is all put in as well. Before then, it is likely to be extremely stressful for me, and they call in their statute law claimants with I can't pronounce the word, COGNITIVE, empowerment, and my twice sent questionnaires dated June, July, medical evidence was sent then as well, with both full medical evidence of that high level disability information and is consistent medical reasonable adjustments, and therefore is nothing to suggest over reporting on the function of my disabilities and ill health. I backed up everything evidence. I'm concerned I do lack this is the big thing which is embarrassing for me. I do lack the insight to how to explain to strangers how my conditions affect me. It's always been like that ever since I got injured, and not just on the attempt of my life. I've been informed I've never recover. I can't talk about how it happened. All these years on, I'm on medications for life. And then on the physical side, disabilities, ever since I ended up in a wheelchair and reduction of my health, physical illnesses, I find it extremely difficult even talking to the reference to care assessment side of things, and that's why I need the offer of a care advocate to assist me. So this is why the face-to-face is extremely difficult, and this originally why the previous social worker, she's going to sit in on, if they refused, was going to sit in on one of the medical in my own, with a stranger I don't know. And then after that, she's going to try and help me. I don't know how, but I would have 2 tape recorder recording the medical, and then I would be offered a OT assessment, and she's like trying to move things forward, and then she most likely have to make a decision to find me emergency placement because of the state I'm left to live in. And that was meant to happen. It didn't, because I only had 2 weeks' notice soon after this letter was sent that she's going to leave the social worker. Public servant's going to move from the job, leave completely by the 31st of 10, 2018. Bad timing, what? So I had nobody. I was informed by email, but got a letter again by capita individuals to inform them, let them know. But this individual was Susan of a certain department, civil servants. Well, I've never had an email, let alone spoke to the individual. So I don't know if she exists all this time on. Anyway, so that was that letter sent with a list of my medications. The side effects of Ceprecone, diazepam, Benavaxine is another one. That's why I can't wake up early in the mornings. The Magtazepam is when I saw a specialist for the attempted murder and the trauma, the post-traumatic stress. I mean, the whole list of things I've got is the one that blocks out the flashbacks and memories, because I do not sleep if I don't have the medications. I don't function if I don't have the certain. I do meditation now, by the way, so I'm a bit much better in that area, but I still, I don't know anybody how you cope. If you, God forbid, you've ever gone through, I've gone through, but it's difficult. So you have to put brave face on every bloody day to wake up and thank God for you're still here. And although everything else around me is falling apart, you're still breathing. And I thank God for that. I've not been able to engage with certain individuals since my mum's died because I just can't cope. It's difficult to talk about it. And my previous doctor then in July did an online referral, and I didn't know what that was about. So I thought I was still able to tap into psychological talking therapies in my area. And at least I'll have somebody to try and understand me. Nah. I got rejected from that service straight away. No reason. I'm no risk to nobody to me. It's the fact that it's just all this is just permanent. You get triggers, and that's why you're on medications and natural health, natural food. I'm doing all that. So I can't change what's happened. I'm just live with it. And if I don't take certain medications and do the coping strategies and stuff, I would not be, I don't know, I just would not be functioning. So I tried as best as I could to respond to these people. And they took no notice of this evidence. Didn't take no notice. How inhumane is that? When you have serious, genuine situation, and they've added to the overwhelming psychological distress. It's too overwhelming. And I can't even believe this now. Citizens advice in my area refused to offer home visit. I can't cope to go to them, and I can't cope physically with all this photocopying this paperwork. I mean, I've got ink. My mate got me some ink yesterday. But it's not the fact they haven't got the extra time. And this is where I thought I would have had a care plan by now. And I'd have all this in a care plan. And when I found out yesterday by Disability Rights.org, their website, in an email newsletter, that, God, I should have been decision making. I should have been involved. I should have met up before meetings with social workers all last year. I should have been offered this, that, and the other, and it's never happened. And then all this on top. So I have done everything. So tribunal people, I've got the bloody evidence. Why should it go to mandatory consideration and Ministry of Justice of A1 that I'm battling to get my £16,000 out of them for the attempted murder, and that's been years because I don't have the right ID. And where's the lawyers out there nowadays? You can't find a bloody lawyer. And I'll try to be my own. Friday, as I said, this was just another version. My conditional acceptance of her recount claim offer. Again, this was delivered. Let me just get the date. Yeah, I think it's the same, exactly the same. I made 2 copies, thank God I did. Right, so this one, as soon as I got that notification, Wednesday 17th, right, okay, so it's 3 pages, this is. I hope you can bear with me, not going to get bored and fall asleep yet. Friday the 19th, the 10th, 2018. I've got to check the dates on this one because I've made some marks on it, some points on this sort of version. I think I've got, yeah, this is my copy. The other one was original. So I made some extra copies on here. So I'm just going to skim read through this. Oh yeah, there's a key point I made. Right, as soon as I only had 2 weeks' notice, social worker was going to leave her job. Right, Department of Works and Pensions Limited, Personal Independence Payment, Site B, Post Handling Site B, Wolverhampton. I am unable due to my complex joint lifelong medical disabilities and physical illnesses. Don't know if I added that original. Right, so 1. Capita pit. To the senior case manager, man or woman, PO Box 37 Danton. I enclose IT requirement in line with, I can't even read my handwriting, because my mate was going to try and photograph this and send it as email to see if I can get any help with, I don't know what other service there is. Trying to figure this one out at the moment. I enclose the requirement in line with the Quality Act 2010, again, section 22(21). I require to be offered the disability reasonable adjustments to avoid the harm. It's a key element to this. To avoid the harm, the risk, to avoid psychological overwhelming distress on mental health and my cognitive cognitive, sensory, mental health, and on affects my physical disability, impairments, health. Evidence of which is sent previously, July 2018, on all the PIP 1 and 2 forms, the medical evidence by my medical practice, state who it is, and received the date, and that was dated in their computer systems, and the doctor's specialist medical report, 4th of August 2018. And to make sure to offer a home visit. Well, he didn't know. I know it's a female doctor now, but he didn't know at the time. But all the criteria for a what they call it, I just said, a paper-based medical. You know, the statutory law and that. And so then dated a former friend I no longer have support on. That's a former church friend or anyone else. To make calls, phone calls, to sit in on medical assessments for the above. On a date reference offer, Thursday 25th of 10th 2018, and the time was of 9:15 a.m. offer. And I require either to be put on hold the medical while I await the offer of a outcome of the Care Act 2014 needs assessment with a new reappointed social worker to support me. And also on above, if you want to confirm this, I put down the doctor's contact details again to confirm this because I updated them also. And this is to confirm to not put me at risk again of further additional harm, alarm, stress to the above offer. Now, this was previously, it was my copy, dated the Wednesday, 17th, 10th, 2018. So the version, I have to relook at my the original version to double check on this. Page 2, yeah. Instead, now, of no support of the former put it down here, of the former church friend I once had, and he was informed that I could be offered a paper-based medical on special grounds and put on hold the offer of a home visit. Or I was still going to be offered a home visit, being afternoon time, and that was on the phone, by the way. And he made it clear on the disability reasonable adjustments and the Equality Act statute law as well. He did that on the phone, and I had a witness with me as well. And I made it clear that I do require the extra support, offer. And that's on Department of Works and Pensions website. Their lawful, your lawful right for the additional support, your complex situation, is stated 16th July 2018. It's on black and white, the website. I can't print out all those documents, too long. So again here, I'll put down the female doctor, the male doctor, who they can actually bring up and confirm the substantial risk and harm if they offer to my home at 9:15 a.m. when it's impossible. I've no one here, bedbound, alone. I can't do the phone calls, and I also added, again, to avoid the overwhelming psychological, and that word I can't pronounce, distress to my mental health and the effects of my physical health, and confirmation that Evie the former social worker, that's it, I'll put it down the evidence here. She's leaving her job on the 31st of 10th, 2018. And due to a social worker, short term, and they call themselves STEPS, prevention team for my area county council, yeah. And they already had her contact details, yeah, email, phone numbers, everything already provided as well, additionally, okay, in case they lose the other paperwork. They like to lose paperwork, don't they? So anyway, I included all that again, and then I said, I cannot cope alone. In the offer, I am put at substantial harm and risk and disadvantage. Mental health without the support of a social worker, female support to help physically in a medical on how my joint, physical daily disabilities and severe lifelong mental health illness is affecting me. I had present in my home. And not to be alone with a female I don't know at present. As I said, I've no one to support me on this. I've only just been informed that the social worker's leaving her job, so bad timing, isn't it? And I'm placed on, yeah, and that's when I was placed again. This has happened in the summer last year, and it happened again in October. I'm placed on a waiting list for a replacement social worker. It didn't happen, by the way, that until the end of November, and then I'm still waiting 3 months on for any outcome. What the hell's going on that side? If required, you can contact my medical practice to confirm, and I put down the phone number of also the STEPS department, civil servants, the adult care side. I included the phone numbers here. So it got posted Saturday for me, 20th of 10th, 2018, and it got delivered in time before that PIP assessor turned up. They took no notice of this evidence. They took no notice, they didn't scan it in, or the medical evidence. And that individual turned up, page 3. I've already sent July 2018, the PIP medical evidence, mental health, physical health evidence. I had no idea. I also need urgent move, health and safety, and in the support of a Care Act 2014 statutory law. And also, unfortunately, due to the major housing disrepair still, and that's 1 year. I'm sorry if it sounds boring, this, but this is how serious it is for everybody. And I'm just sharing this. So if you don't want to listen, that's fine. This is how it's got, and I'm getting to what's gone on now. But this is all the evidence, the paper evidence, the medical reports, every damn thing they've got should have all along, like thousands of others, offered the whether it's a paper-based medical or a face-to-face, and they are screwed up. They contracted service on behalf of Department of Works and Pensions in UK, capita, my health. This is my health. That's why I titled this stream. So yeah, they got all the evidence, and this document evidence was sent in time to stop that individual turn up my own, and she still did. The reason, it's just like setting people up in it. She turned up my home. I didn't know this, so I won't share my address. But at 9:15 a.m. I'm like this. I can't move. What the hell's going on? There's a workman outside the bedroom window. That woke me up. And then of course I got the medication list. I got everything else. Oh. Anyway, and she was seen outside in her car, putting on a computer straight away. I failed to attend a medical. despite all of this evidence, to state, I require this, I require that, and capita, bloody heck, they are really, people are giving up, aren't they? People are really struggling, and I'll keep that in there. Oh yeah, and I sent this evidence off how I got so physically unwell on top, and my daughter-in-law witnessed my stroke and my heart attack, and that was she done this email. This was sent as evidence too. On Wednesday, 27th September 2017. This is my daughter-in-law, what she said. I mentioned who I am. She witnessed via live video and social media, Facebook, approximately 7 p.m. and 9 p.m. She said, I witnessed the incident from her phone and viewed all the footage until I was taken in the hospital by ambulance. I lost my speech. She's quoting who I am. I lost my speech. I was slurred and stirred, you know. All I remember, I won't read all that. Basically, it was like suddenly another stroke on my left side of my body, and then it's like a heart attack, and all I could move was my eyes. The laptop here, I was in bed. Excuse me. And it just all happened out of the blue. I couldn't move my right hand to use the phone to call services, emergency people, and I had nobody here. And that's what started my additional decline in my physical health. I've not recovered ever since. And I keep having, during that period of time, all last year, I keep having these pulls on my right side, and this my right side is now going, my neck, my shoulder, my arm. I can rest my hand on my chest like this, but I can't move it up. And that's been now 2 weeks. So it's when I got one over and hit that road years ago, it's like a road cuffing during that shoulder, the only good side I got to use. So you can imagine, like, if it wasn't for if it wasn't for my daughter-in-law, I wouldn't be here. And I can't thank the hospital staff, the ambulance enough, and the police had to break in my door. I don't remember much, but I just remember what my daughter-in-law did at evidence for to assist, not just for the PIP medical GWP, but for my care at me assessment. This is on my medical notes anyway, and because it's an emergency situation. My daughter-in-law witnessed me having this CCG, whatever they call it, this stuff on your heart. My mates eventually, when I got home, found the sheet was torn up in the bin, and it found that my heart was all over the place. I don't know why they didn't show me the results, but my mate who works in occupational therapy privately at the time, she saw that in the bin. I wonder why they put it in there, and of course they ain't going to tell me, are they? Because all I remember in that ambulance was stuff going into my mouth, and then waking up in being put in this tube thing, what do they call it? MR, is it a whole body scan thing. See, not just a CT scan, but the big thing that makes a lot of noise. And I had all this people rushing around me. I don't remember much. And then I come to properly a couple of days later on a ward, and I couldn't speak properly. And so I was trying to get a discharge sheet of what actually happened. How did it happen? You know, great. And it was too costly to get my medical notes out the hospital and my GP notes, 50 quid a time. I ain't got that. So I would have gauged some kind of information to aid this claim, you see. And so all I could do was my kind daughter-in-law did the statement of what happened. And And she also added on the end of it about my housing situation, which is adding to everything. Not repairing the wet room, me constantly getting ill because of the mold rates in the air, you know. And when you go through this process on top of losing your mum, on top of going through the Care Act assessment, it's like everything's bombarded at once. How do you cope? Just do, don't you? So this is what she kindly did for me as additional, because I've just been neglected by all the statutory individuals that work in public services and NHS and housing, all combined. They're meant to be working effectively. So my kind daughter did that. But the past year, they've had their own problems, so I've had no communications by them. So that's another piece of evidence. What more do they bloody want out of us? And here we go. Look at that. I don't know if it come across. Person dependence, a guide to your assessment. It's just unprofessional. And it looks at your mobility and your ability to carry out, oh, for God's sake. Do you know how much? Okay, so what you send off is like what your friends do. So this is like it's more than 3 visits a day at the moment, 4 times a day, 7 days a week. And I think this is why the adult care people won't bloody get their finger out, because I'm too costly to them. But last night I had a shock. My parents want to pull out. I didn't react well with that. They just can't cope. I don't blame them. They're being well. I've held on to get, so I could at least see if I'm going to be offered any services. So then I'll be able to have somebody that is bloody trained and to assist. And what do they want to do to save the people, right? You don't get asked a deal. Do they want to carve them off into a bloody expensive care homes? Nothing about independence. Anyway, so that don't mean no. And what really got me the biggest, despite these people, they're called Northamptonshire Adult Social Services, and it's a bloody joke. You just research what the council's done all year, last year, and you see why I'm left in a limbo, like others most probably. So the company folded in August, and I just need to know, well, what the hell's going on, you know? If I was informed that a care planning report would be used for my PIP medical by and in time for August last year, that would have been extremely helpful. So it didn't happen, did it? So this piece of paper went along with my additional evidence to inform. I don't think these call centre, they're just looking at a computer screen and they're just like putting you into a box. I'm all for technology that's going to aid one's life, and it's going to be, you know, but when you've just got computerization of individuals, they're not treating and looking at your medical evidence, that's seriously putting people's lives at risk. When you can't afford to fund your extra costs, your disabilities. And I just know people are worse off. For example, I found out this homeless guy, he's died of a heart attack. He'd come into the country, and when I had a good day last summer, I seen him about, and I knew how and where he should be able to get offered services. He didn't have the right ID, so nobody wanted to know the relevant so-called people in my area. I don't know how he ended up in hospital, but he died of a heart attack and now he's dead. And he was only 21. And how would you get homeless? Well, he split up from a girlfriend that I presume it was her own. And he was a proud man. He was a kind man. He was so young and all the life ahead of him. And I found that out on social media. And I just thought, what the world is coming to. Lost soul, bless his heart. And I helped him how he could get his passport, up to date one. And I put him in contact with a couple of people I knew of. And then I read it all over social media. And what got me was a response about the nasty piece of work, because this so-called street chaplain in my area, he went on the tack of people's comments about the poor young chap that died. And yet he's meant to go out to help homeless people. You can't always judge same. You can't always, you don't know people's circumstances, why they end up there. You know, they might have given up, like situations like mine. Say they got just mental health, unfortunately. They just give up. And they ended up just want to get away from the state and seek wealth. You know, whatever. You just don't know. And then they have a downward spiral in their life. Anything could happen. But this individual didn't. He didn't touch drugs. Well, I presume that he didn't touch drugs. Didn't come across that way. Anyway, go back to this this mental health, physical care, personal care in statute law, what's meant to happen. So this was since the 3rd of the 10th, 2017, up to the original first PIP form, 7th of the June, 2018. By the 10th of June, I think it was the 11th or 10th, my sister messaged me, shocked that my mum was in hospital, on a video messenger app, that she's dying, that she's going home. So I'm going through all this and that at the same time. And then I tried to put it back in my mind to focus on all this stuff. And then by trying to meet these social workers, trying to sort all this out and the other out with the assessment system. And yeah, and then finding out by disabilityrights.org, go onto their website if you can find it, of yesterday's date. They have a newsletter on the website of information how people should be assessed for their care needs. And the National NICE, NICE guidance and evidence base, and I've never, ever, ever had any of that. I've never been offered. You're meant to have proper time before you meet a social worker for assessment. And that's with if you can't express your needs and your difficulty with that, you get offered a care advocacy individual. You're meant to have time to discuss and plan. Never happened. So that's a bit of information I found yesterday. And well, my friend was going to try and email a copy of that to these, they call it short-term abandonment and prevention services. So they're trying to stop people accessing services. That's what it's about. And yet, I've never met this lady called Susan. All these past year, still don't know she exists, if she's a manager, what department, and I'm still left not knowing what the hell's going on. So that piece of evidence went off. Right, this is proof of posting. Evidence. Excuse us. I've been doing right side, so I'm a bit poorly today. Right, this was delivered. Reference to rejection of their offer on the 25th of 10th, 2018, capita at 9:15 AM in my own. paper posting receipt. Cost me £7.30 with his medical evidence, and it went both to it's Dr. Martin's report, and I know it's dated 2016. It's thick. When you're a victim, a survivor, I call myself a survivor. All these pages. Expert report that the Ministry of Justice Tribunal Court Service accepted in 2001 that I'm permanently for life affected by attempted murder, and the serious crime on top, what he did to me, I won't go into, it's very horrendous. And Professor Martin, top expert, my former lawyers, hired him because he's got his list of expertise and his training is like 3 pages long, and it wasn't just done for the courts, it wasn't just done to sue the London NHS people that let the guy out of hospital, mental hospital, and what he did to me. He went on to kill 3 women in London. I advise now, I should have put disclaimer. Sorry, forgot that. That if you're under 18, please turn away now. If you're triggered by any comments of this, please switch off now. He went on to kill women in London, chop their bodies up, seriously, and dumped them in the River Thames. The reason I've been constantly targeted and neglected and bloody, well, finger pointed at me all the time since, is because my face got splattered all over the bloody media. Because I was the only survivor. And what he did to me and how I survived, I still don't know. I still can't talk about it all this time on. And how I felt guilty for so long. I don't anymore, thank goodness. I've had to work on myself. And if it wasn't for a kind friend in America, I'll never forget her help. Through her helping me see through the effects of all this in the sense of like knowing yourself and coping strategies. She does art, very good art, talented artist. And I started learning about meditation and natural health. I used to be very good at that before I got run over, and various skills I had years ago, and I just lost them all. I lost everything. What I used to know, the whole trauma, everything, all this happened to me, I just lost everything. My relationships, my family, everything. Because I just could not cope. And the flashbacks still affect me really bad. And now the cutbacks and services as well. So I've had to learn with very good people. And I started learning about really, really, really helpful excuse me, meditation of the subconscious mind. So this report, when you go through things in your life in trauma, and this report was solely, I lose my voice, excuse me. When you go through horrendous things and you just say, okay, this has happened, your medications, there's nothing nobody can do for me. I've been written off. Excuse me. The talking therapy doesn't work. It's too deep rooted, all this on the psychological front, and interactions with people. In reality, I'm very good at putting a mask on. You see, I might make a video about the weather. I might just interact with people occasionally online, but about me, I don't talk about reality, about what really goes on with me, because it's too painful. I might talk generally about housing issue or what I might find out in research, but I've never been able to talk about all this effect on me. And when I saw that guy in the Old Bailey, because I had the Met Police up my old house, and murder squad, you name it, and they used me as a witness. And it weren't till the last day that the guy pleaded guilty. And then, of course, I had a media pack. When you hear about so-called celebrities, well, put it this way, I was a focus point. Newspapers, radio, TV, you name it, and their agents. I didn't have a PR agent, by the way. I had training in PR, so I knew how the media would work. But I had very good, what's it called, police liaison officers or something. Anyway, they made sure I was safe up in there where all these barristers and lawyers have their breaks and stuff in their room out the way. When they called me down and said, if you want to sit in that gallery, I was in the back of the public gallery to see him being sentenced down for triple life for murder for 3 women. He saw me, and the second time I saw his eyes go green and really horribly evil was in that Old Bailey room. I just can't describe it. Just evil. Sense of evil. And how difficult all these years on to talk about strangers, let alone Pitt Medical, let alone any doctors. Because apparently the labels come out, doesn't it? The traumatised for life. If I had that £16,000, I would have hired my own specialist for quite a few things, for care, housing. I would have been on holiday to have a break, personal care assistance. I would have done a lot. I wouldn't have been here. I would have packed up, put everything in storage. Well, get someone to do it for me, of course, and hired my own private assessments, and hired a barrister, by the way, for this by now, and took the DWP and capita to court for breaches, not just for me, but for others like me. I thought I wanted to do. But because I didn't have a bloody right up-to-date ID for criminal injuries for Her Majesty Court Service, they didn't want to know. Anyway, a sidetrack. So, I'm a survivor. I will survive this. I will get there. I will get through all this. Because the evidence speaks for itself. So, these public-funded companies, and they are companies because I got the evidence. Capita Business Service Limited, evidence of the proof of posting, and I'm sure I'm going to have to use all this for their system, so excuse me. I'm having to rest in bed today. So this is a proof of posting all this medical evidence, and really what I mentioned, that report for and horrendous situation related to that, because it was, I felt violated. I still feel it again, all over again, because I don't want strangers to look into my personal business like that. They obviously did not look at that medical evidence of grounds that I do meet the, I've got paperwork of the clauses in PIP regulation, statutory law 2000, and I think it's called 13, where if this causing people that's gone through similar situations to me, everyone's different of course, then you do meet the remit to be offered a paper medical. There's no guarantee that would be offered, but that's the remit they should have followed, and it didn't happen. So how do you hold them accountable now? Anyway, this is my evidence of proof of posting I sent and the last time was to review their decision to stop my DLA. So this is, as I said, it was the date, as I said, the first lot of letters, and it was signed by a JARRETT individual, whoever they are in the post room. Capita, that was sent for me. And again, as I said, the offer of a when you put the reference numbers, the PIP reference numbers on your documents, as I said, this was originally sent, and put all their contact details down. So these private limited company employees could contact the relevant people to confirm what I'm saying is true. And they obviously had not bothered. So I'll keep my paper posting originally there, because that was sort of one bunch of information. So the second lot. This was the last lot I sent to Managing Director, Department of Works and Pensions, Head Office, Clacton House, London. Yeah, 17th of the 7th. Sorry, correction. The date here. Sorry, my shoulders just gone. The 17th of November 2018. It also referenced to the business services, capita, and subject unlawfully stopping my GLA on the offer transition to person independence offer a benefit. It went to Clacton House, Tuthill Street, London, the CEO. I found out they had breached their own national charter. So I saw a review of their decision and the computerized letter, 5th of November 2018. As I still had, at that time, I had information. I was going to see a social worker offer, didn't know she was, 23rd, 11, 2018. That female care advocate was meant to be at the meeting. I got there, I got a video about it on this channel. It turns out she didn't turn up, and I found out they weren't to. I was led to believe on emails that this new social worker was going to call these people up for me to confirm I did not fail to attend a medical, and to confirm why didn't they use my medical evidence, to confirm all this paperwork. I had it with me, and that social worker didn't at all. So, as I said, the first subject to the first lot of paperwork, 20th. Yeah, I sent this twice. I remember that. First time was, let me just get that date, 17th 11th 2018. It was delivered on the 21st 11th 2018. They got their evidence and factual evidence with the additional medical report as well. And then special delivery, and then a copy went to also Wolverhampton, and this time Site A. Thou also with the independent subject, again, requirements of the pay-per-view medical, as again for a decision maker to review unlawfully stopping my DLA. And all this was resent, photocopied out again. So to the manager, official complaints. Let me see. Their letter, this is dated Tuesday, the 13th November 2018, by the way. And I can't type, so it had to be handwritten. Their letter, unsigned, 5th of the 11th, 2018. The breach of equality duty of care. I did not fail to attend an offer of medical on 25th of 10th, 2018 on 15 AM. What happened to my first-hand knowledge of the truth of the facts dated Wednesday, the 17th of 10th, 2018. It was delivered Tuesday, the 23rd of 10th, 2018, via the contractor company, Capita Business Services Limited. There is the assumptions made by a computer system and used via the contractor company. I require a full reinstatement of my disability limit allowance. I had informed the change of facts on all calls to Capita Business Services Limited, the call centre men and women, via a former social worker, female, with also my additional medical additional medical, very private evidence I got sent for me. Reports to consider the offer of a paper-based medical PIP. And the medical evidence, and this was delivered on Tuesday, originally, 23rd of 10th, 2018, I mentioned here. I again confirm the change of my GP to who it is, and the same medical practice. And I also state reference a former social worker. I already informed you and where she works from and the contact details of the offer replacement too. I now have, I'm just reading my words here, so bear with me. I have not met yet, that's it. To avoid overwhelming psychological, again, cognitive serious effect on my mental health, physical disabilities and risk too. I also again require disability reasonable adjustments, as I did before, dated first, it's a Friday, 31st, there's 3 dates here, crucial dates, 31st of the 8th, 2018, Friday the 7th of the 9th, 2018, Thursday the 20th of the 9th, 2018, both witnessed by, it was done by the former social worker, witnessed by the independent offer care advocate, via the grounds for also a home visit, if so, for an afternoon time to date. And as I said, that was dated, the last correspondence to them is in page 2, page 1. This is my full rebuttal of the presumption that I didn't turn up for my medical when I'm bedbound at that original date I mentioned. Page 2. This has never been acted upon by the Duty on Equality Act 2010, Section 2122 again, both by Department of Works and Pensions Limited, via all departments and area person dependents allowance department area manager, men or women. So I put the individual male down. I knew only one of the documents I had about. Now the contract Capita Business Service Limited company number, Danton area office, their company number is R29747. When originally my social worker rang up in June, I had no full disclosure of what was required of me, what all this was about. And I'm dropping everything there with me. And I reinstate this serious substantial harm caused to me again and reject of the offer of a current disability living allowance of a computerized letter decision. Computer makes the decision now. And I made it quite clear the evidence. They really have all your evidence on file. They share your data anyway. They just want to make you send more data. And the public servant, man or woman, had not used. And I made it clear that I do not walk at all. And so on the previous day, as I said before, 25th, 10th, 2018, perhaps I can't read writing, I don't know, but I couldn't type. I'm disabled, alone, bedbound, unable to walk, and this has never been looked at or acted upon. And my previously, June, July 2018, Wednesday, 17th, 10th, 2018, or use my medical GP records dated 4th, 8th, 2018. It wasn't scanned into capita computer systems, was it? They haven't been using my medical evidence at all. If this had, I would have had a fair access to lawful goods and services. And I'd made clear I'm going through a full care needs assessment and stated who they are, same contact details again, and still to date. And I said I did provide a good reason why. I did provide a good reason why, and I'm able to walk. I'm not able to access off at 9:15 a.m. in the morning, let alone get to my home where I live, the flat door. And I did also offer my additional information, and that was sent to again put the date again down, 20th of 10th, 2018, Saturday, medical evidence. And that was, and I just put down here and I made inquiry, what was put down on your computer systems for capita database computer systems, and reference also to what did the former social worker who did make a call for me on the 25th of 10th, 2018, what was said, because she explained the reason why I couldn't get to the door, and I sought clarification on that. I require the reinstate at once of the GLA, and I'm not in breach of any policy, statutory law either. If that makes any sense. Bloody long, isn't it? Page 3. Provide all evidence and transcripts of phone calls to and from the social worker, June 2018 and Wednesday, 31st 10th 2018. Her last call, again, Capita Business Services, because what happened on the 25th of the 10th 2018, she'd have phoned because she got a phone call by somebody, don't know who, and claiming somebody's outside. Well, I got woken up by a phone call, and I said, "You what? I thought you told me that they were going to rearrange an afternoon appointment and you were going to sit in on it." And she too was shocked, the social worker. So she didn't know what was going on. So she got through to somebody, and they looked on their computer systems that day, and she said, whoever it was, a female. I got an email. I haven't got the email right now in front of me. I might have. Bear with me if I can find it. I hate being ill. Disability Rights UK website. Check it out if you want to know Right, I'm just scrolling down to emails going back to that date. If I can find it. My dodgy body today. Oh, I don't know. Disabled People Against Cuts website, please check it out as well, because you find a lot more people going through what I'm going through. So come on, they should be. Where's all me that? Right, I might have to go into a different angle. Yep. So I'm going to the 31st. Get off my bloody phone. Oh, for God's sake. Excuse me. Stop hacking into my... It's like somebody's hacking into my bloody phone. I'm trying to search for something one-handed. Where is it? I can't do it. I can't do it on my computer. I can't find that particular email. There's quite a by welfare rights in my area who absolutely dismissed to assist in all this process and paperwork. And I'm going to say who they are. The company, Community Law Service, the individuals without prejudice, they did it. See, when you get in a certain public eye, not of your doing, I'm trying to find it. Oh yes, if it helps anybody, benefits and work.co.uk about DLA to PIP tribunal. It's so important. I can't afford to join. I was a member. The capita healthcare professionals have been found to be unacceptable, and they are still used to make decisions on people's benefits and, yeah, cause them extreme. You see, when you put in to require a reconsideration of an issue, when you already provide additional evidence, they still fell short. I don't care the public purse, cost of tribunals, and how much is it costing to go that stage, like I and thousands of people going through. Decisions that are made by these public civil servants, CWP, tries to defend at tribunals, are so bad that they have no case at all. See, to challenge the unlawful decision making of what's happened to me, I need to get all my papers. See, it's called the process of mandatory consideration. So they have made an unjust decision, and then pushing people like me of a decision to stop my benefits claiming I failed to attend a medical when I did not fail. The cost of photocopying as well, and postage. Have a read through it. So I haven't even got a PIP medical report to appeal. and I can't find that particular email. So I was just trying to see if I can get it up. Yeah, I can't find it. Thought I would find it amongst all these other emails. See if I can see anything else. In an email to the Personal Independence team, it says we will respond to you and to, by the way, on the 23rd September. Thank you for your email. A member of the Personal Independence team will respond to you in 2 working days. They didn't get back to me. It's the complaint and reference number, put in reference number, and they didn't get, this is an email, they didn't get back to me. I'm in the dark, sorry about that. They didn't get back to me. Going back on the 8th of 11th, 2018 was my email to Teresa Grant. She's the public servant, CEO, Northamptonshire County Council Limited, Companies House and Malcolm Capri Shore. She heads the claim to offer a replacement social worker. And then this was referenced to expect me to cope on my own with Olympic Services Limited offer an independent individual to sit in on for me. And basically, in the housing side, somebody had misinformed individuals. So I had to get my friend to help me with this email to send to them to correct her. As 2nd 11th 2018, claiming she's pulling out until the offer replacement of a social worker. That's when I ever got by that previous social worker. I have no contact. And this is clear what's happened since. So also a change in my right side, my body, my health, etc. since what I mentioned, 2017. And who I tried to seek assistance from. Oh yeah. So I copied in the housing, correct facts, what was going on, and now this is just going around in circles. For 1 year and 9 months. Housing needs. All of this is all of this is meant to be dealt with and looked into to assist me. And the person in jail sustained ever since, and they haven't cared. Nobody's got back to me. And then on top, this DLA stopped. On top. So during the summertime, 2018, their summer breaks, I was left out with nobody. No support whatsoever. Then the 6th of 7th, my mum dies. Then, you know, a lot of small stuff's happening. Then I end up in hospital for an injury. Then I'm getting the runaround again by certain individuals in the civil servants. Then, of course, I mentioned about the previous social worker, what she was to do for me and offer, and nobody has bothered to assist me. And so here I go. I got the email. I tried Pit this morning and spoke to a male called Huge. There's the last email by the social worker. He informed me that their computer system had been down since Monday. She was going to leave on Friday. Who's we? Anyway, that male call centre, Capita, suggested to her on the phone to call back on tomorrow. Anyway, we carry on the reading. So Monday, and therefore they to my job at 5:20. Didn't email me until then. And then she says, I've copied Susan, I won't mention the last name in, so she's aware of this. I've attached a blank copy OT assessment. Well, they know I got. That's when my email went back with what's 2018. She hadn't done what she's meant to have done. So ever since, and then I mentioned vulnerable, you're an adult, and you experience the no support whatsoever, DWP, learning about all this, what they originally was going to be offered to assist me with capita as well. I've got no funds to pay for mixed costs and disabilities. Sure. And I said it was sent for me, the email, Thursday, 8/11/2018, to public servants in my area. So she works as a short-term employment team prevention service department, social worker. They really don't give a monkeys, so I found the email. I knew I had it somewhere. So going back 28th of January, I kind of said advice. She is the operations manager for Central and East Northamptonshire Service Advice. She did not provide any copy of a home visit policy for those in my situation. The company house number in my area, and I have to, with capita services. My joint medical psychological should have been 18, but I put 19. No, my mate should have been 2017, and she put 2018 instead. And then again, I was seriously ill. Again, 14th of 10th, 2018. It's more irresponsible. I'd already did respond before. I stated who I responded to whom has a copy of your offer of home visit. So this was sent. I've not used facts and why now stopped it completely and awaited review decision. This and now twice by recorded because care review consent documentation paperwork yet. Nothing has been agreed yet. So that was strange. And claiming that the individual won't be in their office until the dental infection, the dry mouth. No, I'm seeking a copy of the home visit policy. So today at 8:30 in the morning, one of an individual, a new employee, claimed he was trying to open this document and he wasn't authorised, but it's on their computer system. It stated originally Tuesday the requirements if they can be offered support in reference to the PIP regulation below. My assistance for offering services in the lawful requirements. As I've got no replacement still by the social worker, a social worker. And when I did a one-off, a meeting I dated of the date and what happened, I have had no support since. Don't know what's going on. Anyway, this is the first-hand knowledge of the facts. And so since I required the offer with this PIP, capita, DWP, there is my... Since what happened on the 25th of 10th, 2018 by Capita Business Services Limited and their female individual is the regulations. Right, it's the substantial risk, exceptional circumstances ground. That's what anybody like me comes into. I'm going to read, if you can't see the vision. Right. Explanatory notes. It was for the doctors, BSA. Regulations 29 and 35 of Statutory Law, National Department of Works and Pensions, the Secretary of State states. And at the bottom of this, I found a clause, what the substantial risk, exceptional circumstances means. Regulations 29 to 35. If you have a severe mental health and joint physical disabilities you're suffering from, and you got your reports and medical evidence, they should have acted upon that and offered a paper-based medical, PIP medical. And that's capita they're able to do. So let me go into the key evidence part. If the claimant is suffering from a life-threatening disease in relation to, and there is medical evidence of a disease is uncontrolled by recognized therapeutic procedure, next, and the case of a disease is uncontrolled, there is a reasonable cause. 5, reference to PIP medical evidence I sent. B, the claimant suffers from some specific disease of body movement, there would be substantial risk to their mental and physical, so it popped up, there will be, repeat, a substantial risk to the mental or physical of any individual if the claimant were found to not have limited capability for work. So I looked at this in relation to the PIP regulations. So I amended a certain clause, evidence from a healthcare professional approved by Secretary of State in the United Kingdom. Evidence, if any, or any healthcare professional, hospital, similar institution, such part of such evidence as constitutes the most reliable evidence in the circumstances. I got that twice sent. They ignored it. Capita medical evidence worker awaiting a call by tomorrow. A lawful reason I'm unable to allow entry to my home on, this was sent before the due date, by the way. Bound, I have no support, I'm unable to get up early, the side effects medications I'm on, I've no social work, my social worker knows that. I have to amend the wording later. My friend coming around soon can amend that wording for me and get me my soup and my dry medical evidence ground. Either paper-based medical should have been offered or the home visit 4 p.m. afternoon call offer. It didn't happen, by the way. A visit while I'm awaiting replacement of a social worker to be reoffered. My DLA offer, as I did not fail to attend a PIP medical. I fully Capita Business Limited employees, yet extra medical evidence was sent in time. I already mentioned that. And the copy of proof of posting of evidence too. Done it all. And where had, so basically it goes on to briefly say, where had there been the offer of support to sit in the previous social workers have said on the PIP medical, if I was going to be offered another appointment, Capita PIP medical afternoon with that original social worker, as I said earlier about that, but now she's left a job. That's what I said here. Yet my DLA is stopped without due lawful cause, and I did not claim I did not obtain a medical. The emails attachment document to sentence advice individuals in my area. You completely ignored all this, by the way. The policy in which disabled people should be offered a home visit. It's on their website. If you need additional help with their charter, it is stated it now, been on a long time. So basically, in a nutshell, yeah, my mate's got a message and just went into all the relevant dates like I've got in paperwork. It's just basically put an email. As I had no response to this email dated Tuesday, 27/11/2018, I require us to know what is going on. Any reasonable adjustments. So this email was seeking clarification. Who is this area operations manager claiming they've spoken to somebody regarding what and what was said and what policy you have? I seek clarification. And what caseworker, what case? I've got no paperwork and I didn't sign anything yet. So confirm what was this about. She never did, by the way. And that's 5 emails to date. And then my call the other week, and suddenly they got this new guy employed, don't know his background, and claiming, oh, we need copies of your all of this. I can't copy that. I said on the phone on my situation right now. I said anymore. I don't have the health anymore. I still don't have a response for 3 months by a alleged outcome of what's going on with the care needs assessment. So I don't know. I can't do anything. So what am I meant to do if you can't offer your policy of a female or a couple of them a home visit to assist me on this and to look at my paperwork and assist me in my own? And I had this odd comment said to this female, oh, it's something to do with adult safeguarding policy. Well, that's a load of BS. They have, any company, public funded or non, they have their own safeguarding policies, and that you could easily, if they give you an email link or there's a website, you can check it out. Well, hold on. This local area Citizens Advice is a limited company, their own branch. So on their national website, it does say they should be making that reasonable adjustment for comments and forward it on to us. Well, they can't go to tribunal for you. And I'm in the dark still, so sorry about that. I'm just on to rest. So they have a board of directors that run the Citizens Advice Service Limited, as I said, the company number before, and they do have a national now contract. It's in the media, national media. They're not independent because they have a Department of Works and Pensions Limited contract to assist people on one-off only, to assist them on the universal credit and their computer systems. But if you're like me, and in this situation, bedbound, can't get out and about, how the hell do you get help for that then? By the same individuals. And then I got an email saying all we can do is remotely help you. Well, I can't scan documents and email it. I don't know how to do that, and my friends haven't got the extra time on top of my care needs because they really just want to bloody pull out, and they haven't given a date yet. So last night, I said people back to me, what the hell's going on with their side? So I really would appreciate if you kindly stay on. And they are trying their best. But what the hell are we meant to do? If they pull out, I'm in emergency care, do any of this, and then you won't get any care employees in these private care homes to help you. And no access to the internet, you know? So you're stuffed. But I'm not trying to be negative, but you can't get. I need to, fingers crossed, I need to be able to have my body working for, you know, I mean, these private corporations don't give a monkeys about vulnerable people. It's a postcode lottery. So, yeah.